Greetings, bienvenue, shalom, aloha, ciao. This is Bradford Donald Keller Townsend, and this is part 6 of the Congressional Research Office's report, which is a component of the Library of Congress's research and chronicles of relations with the United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now we're on detentions of U.S. nationals and dual nationals. Iran does not recognize any dual nationality, and detained dual nationals are not given help from foreign diplomats. Recent past detentions. 2007, Iranian-American academic Haleh Esfandiari was imprisoned for several months in 2007 for allegations that her employer, the Woodrow Wilson Center, was involved in democracy promotion efforts in Iran. 2009, Iran-American journalist Roxana Sabiri was imprisoned for 5 months for expired press credentials. 2009-2011, American hikers Sarah Shroud, Shane Bauer, and Josh Fatal were arrested in August 2009 after crossing into Iran from a hike in northern Iraq. Their 2010-2011 releases were brokered by Oman. On January 16, 2016, in concert with JCPOA Implementation Day, several detainees were released, including former U.S. Marine Amr Hekmati, who was arrested in 2011 for spying for the United States. Reverend Saeed Abini, a Christian convert of Iranian origin, imprisoned since December 2012 for setting up Christian orphanages in Iran. Washington Post journalist Jason Razian, who was detained in July 2014. Nosratollah Fred Khoshravini Roodsari, who remained in Iran, and U.S. citizen Matthew Trevichek, a student arrested in 2015. In exchange, the United States released 7 American Iranians imprisoned in the United States for violating Iranian sanctions, and dropped outstanding charges against 14 others not in U.S. custody. The releases were not addressed in the JCPOA. Still in custody or missing, Nizar Zaka, permanent resident, Lebanon national, information technology professional, detained in September 2015 and sentenced to 10 years in prison in October 2016. Simak Bakr Namazi, in November 2015, Iran arrested U.S. Iranian national Siamak Namazi, a business consultant, on unspecified charges. Iran detained his father, Bakr Namazi, in February 2016. In October 2016, Namazi was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Bakr Namazi is held despite failing health. Reza Rabin Shahini, in July 2016, Iran detained U.S.-Iran dual national Reza Rabin Shahini for crimes against the Islamic Republic on October 25th. He was sentenced to 18 years in prison. He was released on bail in late March 2017 pending appeal, but he is still apparently not permitted to leave Iran. Karan Vafardi, an Iranian American, was arrested in July 2016 along with his wife, U.S. permanent resident Afarin Niasari. The art gallery owners, who are Zoroastrians, were sentenced in July 2018 to 27 years in jail for engaging in corruption and depravity, referring to allegedly serving alcohol at their home. On July 16, 2017, Iranian judiciary officials announced that Ziyu Want, a U.S. citizen, a graduate student at Princeton University, had been sentenced to 10 years in prison for spying for the United States. Mr. Wong was arrested in the summer of 2016 while conducting research in Iran on the country's Qajar dynasty. Robert Levinson, former FBI agent Robert Levinson, remains missing after a visit to Kish Island in March 2007 to meet an Iranian contact. In March 2018, Iran again denied knowing his status or location. In July 2013, his family released recent photos of him provided by captors through uncertain channels. Morad Tahabaz, a U.S. British-Iranian national, was arrested in January 2018 along with 7 members of the Persian Heritage Wildlife Foundation. His colleague, Canadian-Iranian national Kavus Saeed Emani, died in custody a few weeks after his arrest under unexplained circumstances. Non-U.S. dual nationals. May 2011, British-Iranian dual national Kamal Fourie was arrested and sentenced to 8 years in prison in 2013 for unspecified charges. In 2016, the United Kingdom Iran dual national Nazarin Zaharie Ratcliffe and Canadian-Iranian dual national Huma Hoodfar were arrested. Hoodfar was released in 2016 and Ratcliffe was given a 3-day furlough in August 2018. April 2006, French-Iranian Nazar Hafshar was arrested upon return to Iran, sentenced to 6 years in prison, and released on bail. She had earlier been arrested in 2009. United Kingdom, Iranian, British, Iran dual national 2016, Abdulrasul Dori Esfahani, a former member of Iran's nuclear negotiating team focused on Iranian issues, was jailed for alleged spying for British intelligence. March 2018, British Iran national Shahabin Masuri Karami, a banker, was sentenced on spying charges. May 2018, Iranian British national Mahan Ababin detained on arrival from Britain, where he works for the British consul. Also arrested was Iranian national Aras Amiri, who was studying in Britain. December 2018, Iran detained Iran-Australia dual national Miamayinat Hosseini Chavishi on charges of trying to infiltrate Iranian institution. Bills in the 115th Congress, H.R. 4744 and S. 2365, would require U.S. sanctions to be imposed on Iranians responsible for detaining American citizens. Source: State Department report mandated by Section 110 of the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act, CATSA PL 115-44, various press reports. Policy elements and options. As have its predecessors, the Trump administration has not publicly taken any policy option off the table. Some options, such as sanctions, are being emphasized, while others are being considered or threatened to varying degrees. Engagement and improved bilateral relations. Successive administrations have debated the degree to which to pursue engagement with Iran. Included in the debate has been whether to set conditions for engagement. President Trump has publicly welcomed engagement with Iran's President Rouhani, but administration officials have set strict conditions for any significant improvement in United States Islamic Republic of Iran relations. For example, Secretary Pompeo, in his May 21, 2018 speech referenced above, stipulated a list of 12 behavior changes by Iran that would be required for a normalization of United States-Iranian relations. Many of the demands enumerated by Secretary Pompeo, such as ending support for Lebanese, Hezbollah, and withdrawing entirely from Syria, go to the core of Iran's revolution and are unlikely to be met by Iran under any circumstances. Among the stated overture for talks in his July 2018 speech in California discussed above, Secretary of State Pompeo said, "As President Trump has said, we are willing to talk with the regime in Iran, but relief from American pressure will only come when we see tangible, demonstrated, and sustained shifts in Tehran's policy. At a July 30th, 2018 press conference, President Trump stated he would be willing to meet President Rouhani without conditions, presumably during the September 2018 General Assembly meeting in New York. Rouhani indicated that the United States-Iranian relationship was not conducive to such a meeting. President Trump later stated he would not meet with Rouhani during the General Assembly meetings, even though President Rouhani is probably an absolutely lovely man. In early December, President Rouhani stated that the United States directly requested negotiations with Iran on 8 occasions in 2017 and indirectly requested negotiations on 3 occasions in 2018. He said that Iran rebuffed these overtures. Military action. Successive United States administrations have sought to back up other policy options with the capability to exercise military force against Iran. Prior to the JCPOA, supporters of military action against Iran's nuclear program argued that such actions would set back Iran's nuclear program substantially. A United States ground invasion to remove Iran's regime does not appear to have gained serious consideration at any time. The Obama administration reportedly stated that all options are on the table to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon, including military action against Iran's nuclear facilities. However, the Obama administration argued that military action would set back Iran's nuclear advancement with far less certainty or duration than would a nuclear agreement. An Iranian retaliation could potentially escalate and expand throughout the region, reduce Iran's regional isolation, strengthen Iran's regime domestically, and raise oil prices. After the JCPOA was finalized, President Obama reiterated the availability of this option should Iran violate the agreement. Obama administration officials articulated that the United States military action against Iran might also be used if Iran attacks or prepares to attack United States allies or attempts to interrupt the free flow of oil or shipping in the Gulf or elsewhere. The Trump administration has similarly stated that all options are open, referring to military action. The administration's pullout from the JCPOA was accompanied by threats to take unspecified action if Iran were to leave the accord and restart banned aspects of its nuclear program. The administration's threats to counter Iran's threats to the freedom of navigation, cyber attacks, regional malign activities, and missile program could also suggest that the administration is more willing to employ military options against Iran than was the Obama administration. The apparent propensity to counter Iran's militarily was exemplified by President Trump's July 23, 2018 tweet that was cited above. In early August 2018, following Iran's threats to close the Strait of Hormuz in response to the reimposition of U.S. sanctions, CENTCOM Commander General Joseph Votel said the United States forces in the region were watching for changes in the environment, a veiled warning that the United States forces would counter any Iranian military action that threatened U.S. interests. The Votel warning also followed threatening comments by the commander of the IRGC-QF, General Qasem Soleimani. Whereas the United States has not initiated military action against Iran or Iranian-backed forces in Syria, the administration has publicly supported Israel's frequent strikes on Iranian and Hezbollah infrastructure there, and among other military actions against Iran. The United States Navy has conducted operations to interdict Iranian weapons shipments to the Houthi rebels in Yemen. For detailed information on U.S. military activity in the region that is in the whole or in part directed against Iran and Iranian allies, see CSR Report R44017, Iran's Foreign and Defense Policy by Kenneth Katzman. With regard to presidential authorities, SJ-RES 41, which passed the Senate on September 22, 2012 in the 12th Congress, rejects any U.S. policy that relies on containment of a potential nuclear Iran. No legislation has been enacted that would limit the president's authority to use military force against Iran, but neither has there been legislation authorizing the use of force against Iran, either on Iranian territory or against allied or proxy forces in the region. Economic sanctions. The U.S. withdrawal from JCPOA and reimposition of all U.S. sanctions has major implications. The table below summarizes sanctions that have been used against Iran. I think I'll stop it there. I'll say au revoir, and until next time, farewell.